Another ramble, because I guess that's all I do this month. Yeah, look, if I didn't upload the video on Wednesday, good thing I did, because otherwise it would have been 4 rambles in a row, because I know it's a new year, new me, but Jagex, like, chill out with the changes, you know? Like, you have made 3 posts in the span of like a week that are changing a lot of things. One of them I talked about, it was enforcing Jagex accounts and therefore Jagex launchers, which a lot of people don't seem to understand that they're going hand in hand. The other one was with the avatar licenses, whatever, which actually, it was a good change. I think that overall it was a good change, better than just the fan type thing that they had going on, where you could only like have 75 items of certain merch at any given time. Now you can actually have a proper license where you can actually partner with Jagex, and you know, you can actually like make a living out of it. It was a fine change overall, pretty good. But now they said they were going to delete the forums, because of course they are. Why wouldn't they? You know, like, I'm starting to believe that this is just like a revenge for Europass having such a huge backlash. So people didn't like Europass, they wanted it removed from the game, and then Jagex was like, oh, is that so? Okay then. You know what? We're gonna just do the biggest string of bullshit decisions you'll ever see. And honestly, I'm afraid of releasing this video, because who knows what they're gonna post on Monday or Tuesday or whatever. At this point, I just expect them to come up with, oh, you know what, we're gonna make NFTs, yeah, or something like that. I mean, because you understand that Jagex always, you know, arrives late at the trends, right? Like, fucking 10 years ago, everyone was making launchers, you know, and people started disliking that. And now, Jagex, you know what? Yeah, maybe we should make our own launcher. So, you know, 10 years from now, don't be surprised once Jagex is like, yeah, we're gonna release NFTs, because that's the future. And it's like, yeah, the grift died like 10 years ago, bro. What the fuck are you doing? Like, why do we have NFT? Whatever. Point is, Jagex arrives late at decisions, and usually bad ones to begin with, because why make good decisions, I guess? That is very hard. So, as I mentioned, the forum posts are going to be removed, and not just the forum posts, like, the entire forum system is just gonna be removed. Now, the main thing that people will obviously point to is, oh, you know, the forum posts weren't used by that many players, and that's why Jagex is cutting it. First of all, Jagex is cutting it because they are cutting costs, right? Jagex is trying to maximize their profits. As Sterling has said, and she put it pretty well, companies don't just want to make money, they want to make all of the money. And that's a very important distinction, because while yes, you could live happy knowing that you're earning 10 million pounds a year, just easy like that and no problem, you could also earn 11, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, like you could earn much more. I mean, sure, you're already earning so much money that chances are you won't ever need it again in your life to work a fucking day, but you could also fucking milk the players for everything they're worth, and then once the next thing comes out, you just milk that instead, because that's exactly what companies fucking do nowadays. That's why so many AAA companies end up absorbing studios, buying their IPs, and then they just kill the studio anyway, and their IPs are just stuck with them. They're not gonna make a new game because it's not profitable enough for them, they can't quickly pump it out, and players expect a certain level of quality, so they're just not gonna do it. They just hold on to it, and an IP dies because they are too fucking greedy. Yeah, so essentially that's the point that we are at today. Could you have a game such as RuneScape where, it makes millions of dollars every year, and you could live happy with that, knowing that, hey, people are playing a game they genuinely enjoy and they're making money? Yeah, you could live happy with that, but where's the fun in that, right? No, we have to be leeches that just absolutely just get every little cent that we can, every little microcent, every little ad that we can from the fucking players. Because games aren't games anymore, they're products. And that's what you have to fucking do, right? You have to sell a product, you have to maximize the profits in a product. Who cares about players actually enjoying the product or, having emotional connections with it, finding joy in it, having memories with it? None of that fucking matters when faced with the sheer amount of fucking cash that you can make, even if that means ruining the fucking game. Because guess what, after this game's done, what's the next one? Fucking RuneScape 3 is over, old school, oh it's over, yeah, let's create another RuneScape spin-off and we'll just completely fuck over that and then we'll move on to the next one. Because ultimately, especially for investment companies, they don't see this as art or anything like that. They see these as fucking investments. That's all they are, and they will undermine any attempt or anything that people will genuinely want, because that's the fucking world we live in. And yeah, that's why they are essentially fucking cutting costs, because oh no, the forums must be a huge fucking cost. I mean, if almost no one uses them, I very much doubt that they're all that big of a fucking cost. But whatever, sure, remove them, fine. But at least archive them, or work with people to archive them, because they are just outright removing them. They're not just removing the option for you to post on them, they're just removing the entire thing. They're deleting every single fucking post, which is really insane, right? The forums are over 20 years old, I think, right? They were introduced 2003 or 4. I don't recall, but regardless, they're pretty fucking old, right? They have so much content, and especially because of the lack of a lot of social media, the lack of wiki, and the lack of all of that. In the early years of RuneScape, especially up until 2010, 2011, the RuneScape forums are almost the only thing that people like me have of actually understanding the sentiment that players felt back then. And I'm not even that big into the history of RuneScape. Imagine how bad this is for people that actually do care about the history of RuneScape and documenting it, right? The loss of the forums is huge. Now, obviously, I do think that at least the wiki is going to try and conserve the most important ones, the most important posts and stuff like that, right? But still, you shouldn't have to rely on players to archive the fucking history of your game. This is your game. This is your history. This is important to you. Why the fuck are you just removing that without archiving or doing anything like that? It's really fucking bad, right? And even then, the only reason as to why people aren't using the fucking forums is because you never tried to improve them. For years, players have been saying, hey, maybe we should have an official way to, comment when it comes to feedback and stuff like that, right? The forums don't get it anymore, they are outdated, they need an upgrade, they need better functionality. What did Jagex do? Exactly, fucking nothing, because it takes effort and money to do things, and, the fucking investors need to get paid their millions to buy a 7th yacht, because it's not enough to have 6, right? Yeah, why invest in the fucking forums? Why invest in a one thing that I see, for example, in a lot of just even random websites, even the wiki sometimes has this thing, especially if you went to the discussions part of it, if you comment something under a post and someone else replies, they can reply directly to your comment, sort of like Reddit, right? Jagex doesn't have this. They never did. For example, imagine that if there's a new update or a new blog post or something like that, you could click on it, and under it, you could just log into your account and post a comment. Instead of having to go to the forums or whatever, you could directly post a comment on there, right? So, hey, I read the blog post, whatever, I think you should make this change, whatever. The most direct way of commenting on feedback. Nah, we can't have that. We can't literally improve on anything at all. No, instead we're going to rely entirely on third parties. Because the best way for players to have to comment about the game is to have to go on Discord or Reddit or Twitter and have a completely different account than the RuneScape account to comment about RuneScape thing. How does that even make fucking sense? It really doesn't. It's adding an extra step for no reason at all. Oh, but a lot of players use these platforms. Yeah, because you fucking failed to improve on the original ones. And look, I'm not even saying that I'm necessarily against the fact that Jagex should be present in these platforms. If anything, they should, because there's still a lot of good feedback and good stuff posted there, the same way that I think they should also be active on places like YouTube and Twitch to try and understand, maybe what's the sentiment of certain players, you read the comments, everything, right? It's important, people give feedback different ways in different platforms. That's fine. But having to entirely rely on third parties, especially when third parties aren't infallible, what are you gonna do if Discord goes bankrupt? What are you gonna do if Reddit just dies? What if Twitter gets blocked in some countries because they broke some labor laws? What are you going to do after that? Because you're relying on them for feedback, because after this, we don't have forums, we have nothing, right? If these things fail, what you have to rely on them? How are you going to archive everything that was on there? How are you going to archive the discussions, the suggestions people had? How are you going to archive that? I understand that for you, it's not exactly important to archive shit, right? But for a lot of players, especially, just go to the wiki, it's kind of important to archive shit. Like, players, especially in the wiki, like to archive shit, because it's cool to be able to know shit and the history of things that we care about. I don't know if you understand that, but, the players certainly fucking do, right? Delegating all of this process to players and not allowing players to have an official platform to have this feedback on is a bit weird, and it's a huge gamble, to say the least, right? It's just really bad. I don't understand why. Do you really need that extra money? For what? Can you not have the forums function? Can you not invest even a little bit of the money towards some certain ideas? Again, like, just let people, instead of me having to go to Facebook or to Reddit and click on the blog post of the week or the update of the week to comment on it, why can't I comment directly on the fucking website itself? Right? Just allow me to comment on the website itself under the fucking blog post that you just posted. It's much easier to provide feedback that way. I just don't really understand what the fuck Jagex is doing. Again, I think they're just punishing us for the Europass thing, because there's no other fucking way of knowing this. Or there's no, other reason as to why they would be doing this, And the thing is, there's other problems as well, because while, yes, being reliant on third parties is bad, not wanting to archive your own shit is bad and all of that, not having official platforms is bad, there's also another problem, which is sometimes third parties are great because they are community focused, so the community sort of handles what they want to happen, right? That's why you have a lot of discords that are, for deep sea fishing, or the Star Miner Discord, or whatever, that are just for activities in game, that you can go there, get help, find people to do the activities with. That's cool. It's a community driven, community focused thing, but those are community driven and community focused. I have seen other gaming companies that have taken over their own subreddits, and as a result, any dissenting voice just gets silenced. You cannot post criticism of the game, you cannot post memes about the game and about Jagex and stuff like that, and you know how much Reddit loves their memes, 2007 Scape just loves making meme shitting on Jagex, sometimes too much, I'll admit, but they love it. Are you gonna fucking overtake the Reddit and not allow them to do that shit anymore? You understand the danger that poses, right? Because you are relying on a third party for feedback, but then you can also take over that third party, meaning that players will have to create an entire new subreddit without all of the history or reach of the previous one. Again, this poses a lot of risks. And to make matters worse, there are still people using the forums. Not usually to discuss updates, but especially for clans. Clans heavily advertise on forums, and there are mainly two reasons for that. Number one, it avoids spam. While the forums have a lot of clan posts and stuff like that, each clan has their own post. They don't need to essentially have just one single post for every single clan to advertise in. They can have their own, and even if they do that, usually it's only a post per clan. You don't have someone just, spamming your Discord with links for you to join their clan. It works on that regard, and a lot of people do use still the forums to advertise their clans, especially because if you go on Google and you type the keywords like Iron RuneScape 3 clan or something, it will come up with a forum link that usually will have directed clans with those keywords, so you'll have a better or easier time to find the clans that you want. There's a certain directory in a way, right? Because the forums in that sense are kind of an archive of the clan posts that have existed, and you can still see which ones are active by which ones are still doing bumps and stuff like that, right? It's an archive, essentially. People are still using the forums to advertise their clans, because usually when it comes to clans, there's only two major ways that I see people recruiting. Number one is in-game, by just inviting people, talking with people, meeting people and inviting them, or creating a clan with them. That's usually the best way, is through invitation, through just, being social with people. The second way is usually forums. Yeah, people just find you on the forums. So you're taking that away from people. At least what you could do is, okay, no one uses these parts of the forum, so we're just gonna archive all of that and we're gonna stop allowing people to use it. Cool, fine, but at least if people are still using the clan recruiting part of the forums, fucking let people still use that. Why are you taking that away? And you're replacing them with a Discord channel that has been in complete disrepair? There's the reason as to why not a lot of people use that Discord channel, is because people can fucking spam it. It's a huge spam. You just have people spamming their fucking clans that they want to recruit because it's the channel that they can recruit people at. So it becomes a huge just spam, a conglomerate of spam. And now, instead of the forums, you don't have the alternative of the forums. Discord, that's it. I mean, you can advertise maybe on Twitter, although Twitter doesn't have a specific place to advertise in, so it's way harder to find. And on Reddit again doesn't exactly have a nice place to advertise. Why? You're gonna have always a pinned post with, places where people can advertise their clan. A few years from now, the post will just close automatically. You will no longer be able to reply. It's just, again, it's a huge liability. I just don't understand why. Look, if people are still using it, just fucking allow people to use it. It's the type of thing that, and look, Jagex is getting sued by clan leaders on this. I've heard as much, clan leaders aren't fucking happy at the decision that the forums, look, in this regard, the forums were outdated, but they worked. For clan recruiting, they just worked. Why take away something that does work? Again, Jagex this year is proving to be stellar in their decisions that they are making. I can only imagine what the fuck they're gonna come up with next week.